Fiji. If we ask you this question, where is this country located? Will you be able to answer? Fiji could be one of the least known countries in the world for several reasons, unless for those who are into the rugby sports. But here we are in Fiji to discover whether it really lives up to its reputation as the soft coral capital of the world, and how bad is the impact of climate change in this country. Located in the South Pacific Ocean. It is an archipelago of 330 islands with only roughly 900,000 population, which mainly settle in its main and biggest island named Viti Levu. When we first arrived in Fiji, we were surprised to learn that Fiji is actually quite a culturally diverse country. The original Melanesian people of Fiji make up around 55% of the population, while almost 40% of the remaining are of Indian people, which are also referred as the Indo-Fijians. With its diverse cultural identities, makes Fiji also a diverse country in terms of religion. We are now in Suva, the capital of Fiji, where we meet with Freya, an expatriate that has lived in Fiji for quite some time.
I'm Freya Ma. I'm from Malaysia. Me and my husband we have been living here in Fiji for over 4 years, and we work in the environmental conservation industry. I currently work with BirdLife International. I'm also doing a postgraduate diploma on climate change at the University of the South Pacific over here in Suva.
Before we arrived in Fiji, Jocelyn reads, Fiji is one of the countries that are currently facing serious impact from climate change. To understand that further, Freya connects us with the right person that can help us for that specific topic, Frances Namomo.
We have this slogan for our nuclear justice program, my fish is your fish, which means whatever happens to my ocean surely will affect your ocean. I think climate change does not choose a particular gender, a particular island or region, but I think all our communities face climate change differently. It's just how do we identify climate change and link this to the stories that our communities are facing. For a decade now, the Pacific Conference of Churches have been working specifically in the accompaniment of communities that have relocated because of climate change. We work with 3 communities in Levu, the bigger island, another big island, Nalikoso and Kandavu, partial relocation, and there's a community now in Navua, Tomoru. But most of the communities that we've worked with are indigenous communities. So when you're talking about relocating, they are relocating to their tribe or clan, the land that owns by their tribes or clan. But in the context of other ethnicity groups here in Fiji, that may be an issue because they either have to purchase land to relocate to, or it needs to be negotiated by the government or the supporting donor that's hoping to relocate communities. But relocation is very sensitive. A lot of the lands are impacted, inundation of water salination, their food security is affected, and we're talking about a lot of coastal communities that live most of their life along the coast, having to relocate inland, where they have to adopt or adapt to new ways of livelihood, new system altogether. And because a lot of our communities are very attached to their land, it's gifted from their ancestors, they are supposed to protect this. That's a bit of a sensitive issue because you have to leave that behind to move somewhere else that's safe. See, with the first community that was relocated is Wunindongoloa. They built their seawall twice already, and they've noticed water coming in gradually. Every time there's a high tide, the village is flooded. So how many hours the high tide comes in? Every time the high tide comes in, the whole village is underwater into the village. Every time there's a high tide again, water comes in. The land is soggy, muddy, even during on a dry day. And if you go to Narikoso, they tell you the crab holes have come right into the village greens, which means the water is actually under it's sipping under where the village is situated. So those are clear evidence of what's happening in most of these communities. Women are going further out into the ocean. Usually they would just stand along the beach and catch the fish that they need. But now they have to go further in, and sometimes for hours out in the ocean to catch the fish, because of the warmer temperature in the ocean. Fish are also migrating to more cooler temperatures. But at the same time, I guess the ripple effect is for women, the livelihood that they have to bring back to the family, plus health issues, exposed to the heat, exposed to the cold. Then this ripple effect is not just the climate change issue as an independent issue, but it's interconnected impact on health, on food security, livelihood of the community, even the social structure as people decide to relocate to other places.
While we in Malaysia still do not feel the impact of climate change on the daily basis, but here, Francis stressed that it is not just an issue, but also a dilemma to the general populations of the Pacific Islanders.
I think it's very serious to the point that people are already thinking about leaving. My home is affected. How do I look after my family? Because that's where our focus is, the relocation of communities. And when you're talking about, and a lot of Pacific Island countries are very, there are big islands like Fiji where you have mountains, and there are small atolls. And when water is seeping into your islands, and at some point it's not habitable anymore for living, where do you go to? I guess that's serious concern now. There's been conversations around Pacific climate mobility, where there's already communities relocating or migrating internally because of climate change. Imagine for communities like Tuvalu and Kiribati, where you don't have any other place to go to, where do they relocate to? That's how serious it is. While we're talking about adaptation mitigation aspect, there are already communities who are trying to find a safer place where they can move to because their own homes are affected.
After our session with Francis, we embarked on our journey towards the north side of the main island to a district named Raki-Raki. Along the journey, we witnessed the raw beauty of Fiji, being a volcanic island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We can see the beautiful hills and large green forests all over the country. The journey took around 3 hours. When we arrived at night, we treat ourselves with the local Fijian cuisines. These are kokoda, a dish made with freshly caught fish, marinated with coconut milk and lime juice. It has been a great day exploring and understanding Fiji. Tomorrow, We will start with our exploration of the sea.